We haven't really seen corals as actually living animals that can show responses. What always frustrated me is that when you're diving, you only get to see this snapshot of these processes that occur on coral reefs. And out of this frustration, really, I started playing with the idea of using time-lapse to actually start documenting some of these processes. So basically we've been using time-lapse to look at behavioral responses in corals. For example, we've looked at the effects of sedimentation on individual corals and how exactly corals can reject sediment and how quickly they can do this. Something else that we've been looking at is locomotion in free-living corals, so corals that are not attached to the substrate, and so how exactly corals can move about on the seabed. You basically only get one chance to do it right. Anyone remotely familiar with photography knows that you try to get as many shots as you can, and then later on the computer you can decide which has the best exposure, etc. But with the time-lapse videos, once you decide on a composition and a shot, that's basically what it is. You literally see two corals attacking each other. And so corals do this in a competition for space. The space is very limited on coral reefs. So the coral on the left, you can actually see that it's flashing its tentacles at the other corals, trying to sting it. Then the coral on the right, so it's basically expelling its guts onto the other coral, and it's actually starting to digest the coral on the left. You can actually see how the fungate corals turned upside down is moving slowly over the sandbed while being upside down, and then inflates itself to flip itself back over. Some of the videos are shot in aquaria, but this was actually using a camera that was set up underwater at a depth about 15 meters around Heron Island. So what you can see here is a nudibranch and two starfish moving around the seabed. This video is actually taken over a course of several hours. This is filmed in the early morning, where you see the organ-piped coral opening its polyps, and you see the feather-like tentacles basically opening up like flowers. For the Catlin Seaview survey, we have started to develop cameras that we can deploy autonomously for several months at a time. And so they basically are able to take a picture every 10 to 20 minutes. And so that allows us to actually look at these coral communities and look at processes literally lasting several months. I think it will actually allow us to document these processes and showcase them to the larger public, and actually explain how coral reefs can change over relatively short periods of time.